Pitching tonight, batting fourth will be Nick Casey. Batting fifth will be the catcher, Mitchell Mangold. Batting sixth, third baseman, Nolan Linus. Batting seventh, designated hitter, Reed Hogan, and he'll be DHing for the center fielder, Grant Morris. Batting eighth, left fielder, Marshall McCarty, and batting ninth, right fielder, Trevor O'Reilly. Both teams 0-1 on the year. West Delaware lost a 4-1 contest last night at home against Dubuque-Wahlert. And Waverly-ShellRock went to Epworth last night and was defeated by Western Dubuque by a score of 10-3. So each team 0-1 looking for their first victory on the year here. As Hawks are out there taking their warm-ups here. Let's set the Waverly-ShellRock starting lineup here. Batting leadoff, junior second baseman Ryan Willis. Batting second, senior first baseman Jackson Little. Batting third, senior pitcher Luke Willis. Batting fourth, senior catcher Hunter Destival. Batting fifth, junior center fielder Brady Leonard. Batting sixth, senior third baseman John Stensland. Batting seventh, junior shortstop Carson Kallenberger. Batting eighth, senior left fielder Brady Thompson. And batting ninth, the freshman Caden Dewey. Hawk defensively here, Marshall McCarty out in left field, Grant Morris in center, Trevor O'Reilly out in right, Nolan Linus at third, Jared Harris at short, Dunstan Warner at second, Kyle Wright at first, Nick Casey, sophomore pitcher, getting the duty here tonight, and Mitch Mangold behind the plate. Leading off will be Ryan Willis, junior second baseman. Takes first pitch, ball one. Casey, just a sophomore, no varsity pitching stats a year ago. Pitch is swung on a miss, a nice pitch, good location, low at the knees. 1-1 the count. Congratulations to the Hawk softball team. A nice no-hitter for a 10-0 victory tonight. Game one down there, so congratulations to the Hawks and Emily Klosterman. That pitch is a little low. 2-1 the count to Ryan Willis. Pitch is on that inside corner. The batter kind of backed out of the way, but umpire called a strike. Even the count at 2-2. Ryan Willis, only 3 at-bats last year, but 2 hits. Scored 7 runs, so a courtesy runner type player last year. Swinging a foul. 2-2 the count now. Casey, a tall right-hander, overhand fastball, down low. Runs the count now to full count. Sun had just gone. There's a pitch high and inside, ball 4. So a little bit of the Achilles heel last night for the Hawks as they gave up 7 walks. Walked the leadoff hitter, Ryan Willis, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, senior first baseman Jackson Little. He'll step in there from the left-hand side of the plate. 90 at-bats a year ago, 28 hits, a .311 batting average. First pitch is called strike 1. Kyle Wright holding him on at first. Sun's just going down. We got the sun out here at the end of the JV game for a little while, kind of a bright sun, but now it's found its way behind some clouds up here. That pitch is swung on a miss, strike 2. So Casey ahead in the count, 0-2. Fastball high and away. Idea to see if you can walk him up out of that strike zone. Casey's 1-2 pitch, again high, 2-2 the count. 59 degrees here in Waverly. High of 62 today. Winds out of the northeast at 8 miles an hour. And on this diamond, it's basically blowing in from center field, but not a game-changing wind by any means. Just a nice little breeze here. Beautiful evening here. Going to cool down. The sun went down behind a cloud, and it'll get down. Probably the last we'll see of the sun here today. There's a pitch again, high. 3-2. So Casey's struggling a little bit with that release point. He's a tall right-hander. Throws pretty much a straight overhand. Is going to have to find that release point there. The throw over to first. Willis gets back in time. So 3-2 on the number 2 hitter, Jackson Little. Again, ball 4. So back-to-back walks, and Waverly's got something going on here in the bottom half of the first inning. I'll bring up the number 3 hitter, senior pitcher, Luke Willis. Luke Willis 0 for 2 batting last year, so didn't get a lot of at-bats. Takes that first pitch high, ball 1. Willis 1 for 4 last night. Scored 2 of the 3 runs for Waverly against Western Dubuque. Pitch again, a little too high. And, most of his pitches so far here tonight have been high. He's got to find that proper release point, maybe a little more bending of the back here. The 2-0 pitch. Again, high and outside. 3-0. Both teams looking for their first victory of the 2017 campaign. 3-0 pitch by Casey. High and inside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk that time, and that has loaded the bases. Back-to-back-to-back walks. Time being called as Mitch Mangold comes out and has a chat with him, and the whole infield comes in. There's no coach out there or anything, but the whole infield comes in and probably deciding what they're going to do defensively here. As looks like the middle infield's going to play back double play depth. Kyle Wright's going to hold the runner at first. Third baseman Linus even with the bag at third. Number 4 hitter, senior catcher Hunter Destival will step in there. First pitch outside, ball 1. Runners are all getting their leads. Casey's 1-0 pitch is well high out of the zone. 2-0 the count. Basically having his struggles here in his varsity debut here. The 2-0 pitch swung on. A little pop fly to the infield. Umpire immediately calls it infield fly as Dunstan Werner goes to his left and catches it for out number 1. And that was kind of a gift maybe from the Go Hawks. Pitcher struggling throwing strikes and then didn't get a real good swing and probably a real good pitch. Fortunately for the Hawks, converted it into an out. That'll bring up the number 5 hitter, junior center fielder Brady Leonard. First pitch, a little high, ball 1. Brady Leonard 1 for 2 last year as a sophomore, so getting not a lot of varsity experience. There's a swing and a foul back to the screen. 1-1 to count here. 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning here at Hurdle Field here on the campus of Wartburg College here in Waverly. Runners get their lead. 1-1 pitch is high. 2-1. Hawks looking to maybe get that double play here and get out of this first inning without any further damage. 2-1 pitch. Again, stays patient, takes it high. 3-1. Casey's going to have to come in with there. Hard thrower and throwing predominantly fastballs, but just right now struggling trying to find that strike zone. Everything's high. There's a swing on foul ball back out of play. 3-2. Casey back on the mound, gets a signal from Mangold, the catcher. 3-2 pitch, swung on, ground ball, right back off of Casey. Gonna go over to the shortstop. Now he's picked the runner off, going from third to home. Got him in a rundown. Now the runner from second to third. Oh, now they got runners going all over the place. Now they're going back after the runner between second and third. And now they're going to get one of them there. They got the runner going from second to third. And a good backup there by O'Reilly. The right fielder came in backing up second. So they did score 1 run on the single off of Nick Casey's leg. But then Little's going to end up at third, and then Luke Willis is going to be out in the rundown between second and third. Brady Leonard ends up at second. So runners at second and third, they did score the 1 run. Got the second out. Nate Lauer calls time. He's out here making sure that his pitcher's okay. The hard hit right back at him off his leg and went back between the pitcher's mound and second baseman. Jared Harris came up, picked it up, no play anywhere, but alertly threw the ball over to third baseman Nolan Linus, and the runner going from second to third had rounded it and had him picked off. And then got him back to third, but then the runner going between second and third got in the run down and got out. So 1 run is scored. John Stensland will step in there now, and he takes the first pitch way high. Ball 1. So Waverly's on the board with a 1-0 lead here. Runners at second and third with 2 away. Pitch is called strike on that inside corner. 1-1 to count. Stensland, a senior. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. Stensland 10 out of 33 last year, a .303 batting average, 1 double and 7 RBIs. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3, so the Hawks get out of what could have been a pretty ugly inning here with just giving up the 1 run on the 1 hit, 2 left on, score after 1 complete. Waverly-ShellRock 1, West Delaware 0. You listen to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Hey, welcome back to Waverly Wartburg College Hurdle Field here in West Delaware, and Waverly-ShellRock playing game number 2 on the season for them. Both teams lost their openers last night. Leading off the top of the second inning for the Hawks, number 4 hitter, pitcher Nick Casey, behind in the count now 0-2. Tried to throw a little off-speed pitch there, stays too high. Good take there by Casey, 1-2 to count. We scored 1 run on just 1 hit in that bottom of the first inning. There's a nice fastball right at the belt, swung on a miss for strike 3. First strike out of the game for Luke Willis. That'll bring up the catcher, Mitchell Mangold. Mangold went 0 for 3 last night against Wallert. There's a curveball, drops in the dirt, ball 1. Waverly in their game last night, 3 pitchers, each threw 2 innings. There's a fastball in there called strike 1. You'll see more of that kind of pitching from a lot of coaches this year, trying to keep the pitch count down with the new rule this year. There's a curveball, breaks right down in there, called. Strike two, 1-2 to count now on Mangold. Hawks looking for their first base runner. Another curveball swung on, a little one hopper hit up the middle. Second baseman Ryan Willis goes to his right, picks it up, throws over to first. 4 out number 2. Nice play out at second base by Ryan Willis. And that'll bring up the number 6 hitter, senior third baseman Nolan Linus. Linus 1 for 3 last night. Steps in there. Willis's first pitch swung on a foul, straight back to the screen. 1 strike to count. Pitch is high. 1-1. Hawks starting lineup, 3 seniors, 5 juniors, and 2 sophomores tonight in the starting lineup. There's a curveball. Catcher caught it, what looked like a strike from here, but didn't get there until after 1 through the strike zone, a little high. Foul ball back out of play over our head. Lands over by the concession stand as we're located up the first baseline just beyond the first base Hawk dugout. Count is 2-2. There's a line shot hit over the shortstop's head out into short left center field. A 2-out base hit, first hit of the game for the Hawks. And that'll bring up number 7 hitter, designated hitter Reed Hogan. DH for the center fielder, Grant Morris. Grant Morris started last night, went 1 for 3 last night. Had a couple base hits in the JV game here tonight that the Hawks won by a score of 9-6. First pitch to Hogan is in there for called strike 1. Linus getting his lead over, first being held by Little. Just sitting there staring at him, and then time being called by the batter as stood over there and looked at Linus quite a long time out the corner of his eye. Linus really not with a big lead, like he looked like he was a threat to steal or anything, but pitcher just kind of waited on him. And Hogan decided he'd call time. Now he steps back in. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball foul down the third baseline. 0-2 to count now. Now Hogan will step back in there. 2 away here in the top half of the second inning. Waverly ahead of the Hawks, 1-0. There's a swing and a miss. A curveball drops in the dirt. Catcher's going to have to step out, throw it down to first, and he does. 4 out number 3. The Hawks, no runs, a hit. 1 left on. Score after 1.5. Waverly-ShellRock 1. West Delaware 0. You listen to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to Wartburg College here in Waverly, Hurdle Field, home of the Wartburg baseball team. They've got a sharing program with Waverly-ShellRock High School. Nice facility here. All turf on the infield, grass outfield. Leading off will be the number 7 hitter for Waverly-ShellRock, Carson Kallenberger. Takes first pitch, called strike. Second pitch is a ball. A 1-1 pitch is swung, fouled, back out of play. 1-2 to count. On Kallenberger, junior shortstop. There's a pitch low in the dirt. Goes down to third baseline. He just kind of stood there, and it's a good thing he did, because then off the mound, Nick Casey comes over, picks it up, and throws him out of first base. And as he gets down there, he said he thought it hit him. So now they're going to ask, Coach Klunder asked the home plate umpire. Now he's going to have the first base umpire come in. They're going to confer a little bit here, and we'll see if that's what happened here. They're going to visit about it. We don't have the advantage of an instant replay, but that's not a reviewable play. Saw that last night in the Cardinal-Dodger game. That was won by the Dodgers in 13 innings. And now they're going to call it a foul ball. Now Coach Lar is going to come out and have a chat with them as to how they came up with that decision. Pretty short conversation, and doesn't like it. Turns around and goes back to the dugout. So it will not be an out. Count will remain 1-2 on Kallenberger. There he gets the next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. So instead of a 1-3 put out, it'll be a swinging strikeout. So nice job there by Casey to take advantage of that. Put him in the book with the K. Second strikeout of the game for Casey. I'll bring up the number 8 hitter, senior left fielder Brady Thompson. First pitch called strike at the knees. Brady Thompson, the junior last year, 0 for 1. So not a lot of experience in this team. Coach Klunder made the comment that he's going to have a young team here this year. That pitch is low and inside. 1-1 to count. Takes that pitch in there, called strike 2 on that inside corner. 1-2 to count. Another swing and a miss, strike 3. So after those first 3 walks, Casey has settled down here a little bit, struck out his last 3 hitters. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Number 9 hitter, freshman Caden Dewey, will step in there. First pitch, swung on a miss, a little late on that. Attempt 0-1 to count. And there's a little soft line drive hit out over second base. Center fielder Grant Morris will come in and toss it in. So a 2-out single by the freshman. His first at-bat, more than likely as a varsity player, gets a base hit. So a 2-out single brings up the leadoff hitter, Ryan Willis. He walked this first time out and came around and scored on the only base hit. Well, before this base hit, the only hit in the first inning. There's a pitch swung on a miss, strike 1. The 0-1 pitch, nice breaking ball, drops right in there. Willis knew it. Couldn't pull the trigger on that one. Good pitch there by Nick Casey, sophomore pitcher for the Hawks. 0-2 to count. Fastball up around the eyes. Willis thought about going after, held up. 1-2 to count. West Delaware JV team successful. Now the runner takes off, swinging a fly ball foul over our head, going to land on the roof of the concession stand over behind us. Count will remain 1-2, but Dewey was off with the pitch. not a bad thing for a number 9 hitter to do that. If he gets thrown out, you're going to start the next inning with your leadoff hitter, so not bad. There he goes again, 1-2, swung on a miss. So 3 strikeouts in that inning, sandwiched in between a single by the number 9 hitter. So that's the end of 2. Score after 2. Waverly-ShellRock 1, West Delaware 0. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to the Wartburg College campus here in Waverly. Top of the 3rd inning, Bill Logan, you're bringing you West Delaware Hawk baseball here tonight. Leading off the top of the 3rd inning for the Hawks, number 8 hitter Marshall McCarty takes the first pitch, grounds out to the second baseman Ryan Willis for out number 1. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, junior right fielder Trevor O'Reilly. So he'll step in there. First pitch swung on, a little line drive over the second baseman's head out into the outfield. So number 9 batter for the Hawks gets hit number 2 in the game. A 1-out single. That'll bring up top of the order Jared Harris. A line shot right at the second or shortstop. His first time up, robbed of a hit. And the same way he had last time, a sharp line drive at the shortstop. There's a throw over to first. And O'Reilly dives back in safely. O'Reilly gets his lead from first. There's a curveball out in front of the plate. Nice job behind the plate by Decibel to block that to save a wild pitch. 1-0 the count. O'Reilly gets his lead from first. In the pitcher stayed a long time. There's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. 1 hop, picks it up, throws to the shortstop, forces O'Reilly. Harris just beats it out at first, so he'll be safe on the fielder's choice. As O'Reilly forced out 1-6 for out number 2. And that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, junior second baseman Dunstan Werner. Update from Sill Field in Manchester. Hawks up 1-0, bottom of the 2nd inning. Georgian with an RBI sacrifice fly to score Mangold in the 1st inning on no hit. So Hawks taking advantage of scoring. Game won by a score of 10-0 on a perfect game pitched by Emily Klosterman. We are in the top of the 3rd here in Waverly. Hawks trail 1-0. Pitch is a strike called at the knees on Werner. Sun behind the cloud are getting a little on the dark side. Lights not turned on here yet. There's a throw over the head of the first baseman, gets away from Little, goes over into the Hawk dugout, and that will be an automatic. Second baseman Jared Harris is already going there, so that'll be an E1. First error of the game. And a high throw and Little unable to corral it. Hawks with a scoring opportunity here. Dunstan Werner steps back in there. 0-1 the count. Jared Harris out at second. Curveball in the dirt again. A nice block behind home plate by Hunter Decibel, saving a wild pitch. As Willis throwing that curveball. Got some movement on it, some drop action on it, giving his catcher a workout behind the plate there. 1-1 to count. Good pitch there by Willis. Warner couldn't pull the trigger. Nice pitch called strike 2. So Warner behind in the count 1-2. Again, that curveball, again, Decibel does a tremendous job of blocking it behind the plate. Already here in 2 2/3 innings, he's probably saved about 5 or 6 wild pitches here, doing an awesome job blocking that curveball low in the dirt. Evens the count 2-2, spins around and then thinks about throwing it back, and then I don't know what he's standing there and then just kind of one-hopped it back to second. I'm not sure what his thought was there. Harris was standing on second baseman, the shortstop, and the second baseman kind of looked at him like, why did you throw that back here? But we're back to action, 2-2, and there's a fly ball hit out in right center field, going to drop in there. Jared Harris going to round third and score, and then a little bobble out there in right field, and Dunstan Werner takes advantage of that. So give him a 2-out RBI single to right center field, and I'm going to say he gets to second base. On the error on the right fielder, a single and an error, but give him the RBI on a 2-out base hit. So a good piece of hitting there by Dunstan Werner, and that'll tie the game up here 1-1 here in the top 30, and that'll bring up first baseman Kyle Wright. First pitch, it's called strike 1. Grounded out his first time up. Kyle Wright was one of the 6 hits last night for the Hawks. That was a solo home run. There's a little ground ball again. A 2-hopper hit to the first baseman, picks it up, steps on first. 4 out, number 3. That'll end at the top of third inning, but the Hawks score 1 run on 2 hits, 2 errors, 1 left on. Score after 2.5. West Delaware 1, Waverly-ShellRock 1. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to Hawk Baseball on KMCH tonight. Bill Logan here in Waverly as the Hawks travel to Waverly tonight to play the Go Hawks. We're into the bottom of the third inning. 1-1 the score here, and leading off will be the number 2 hitter, Jackson Little. Takes the first 2 pitches, 1 a ball, 1 a strike, 1-1 the count. That pitch is low and away, 2-1. Waverly scored 1 run in the first inning. Loaded the bases on the first 3 batters up, all walked. And they got an infield single to score 1 run and then got out of that inning with giving up just the 1 run. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2. So 2-2 to count on Little. Little was the recipient of 1 of those walks. There's a swing and a fly ball back out of play. Count will remain 2-2. Jackson Little, a left-hander standing there in the batter's box. Hawks 1 run on 3 hits. Waverly 1 run on 2 hits. That pitch is high. 3-2 to count now. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Nick Casey really doing a nice job here after that first inning. The first two batters he faced, walked them, but settled down and done a nice job since then. That's his fifth strikeout here now. With one away here in the bottom of the third inning. That'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Luke Willis. There's a called strike. 0-1 to count. He walked as well in that first inning, and he was the one that got caught up in that pickle between second and third. Check swing. Check swing. The umpire checked with the first base umpire. I believe he called it a strike. He got 1-1 on the board, but first base umpire, I think, called it a strike, so I think it's 0-2. Good curveball there by Willie. There it is. A fastball at the letters called strike 3. So great pitch there. Luke Willis not agreeing with that, and he'll trot back to the dugout. That's 3 strikeouts in a row here. 6 in the game now, and that'll bring up Hunter Destival. He popped out to second base his first time up. First pitch is ball 1. Nick Casey looking much, much more relaxed here since that first inning. He had 28 pitches, walked 3 batters. First 3 batters he faced. Could have been much worse than just that 1 run scored. Hawks got out of there. Pitch is outside, 2-0 to count. Hawks softball team down on Sill Field won game 1 by a score of 10-0. 6th inning, a perfect game by Klosterman. Game 2, Hawks are up 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Trying to look for that sweep. That pitch is high, 3-0 to count. Taking that pitch all the way. Called strike 1, 3-1. Both teams looking for their first win. Hawks lost to Dubuque Water last night 4-1. Waverly-ShellRock traveled to Epworth and was defeated by Western Dubuque 10-3. There's a pitch high, ball 4. 4th walk of the game, given up by the catcher, Hunter Destival. And they're going to send a courtesy runner for Destival. The number 2, Connor Havlovic, will be the courtesy runner. Havlovic, a sophomore, steps in there. First pitch to number 5 hitter, Brady Leonard, a called strike. Leonard, a single off Casey's leg. That first inning knocked in the only run so far. Poor Whaley takes that pitch inside corner, called strike 2. Well, Casey ahead in the count now, 0-2. Pitch stays up around the bill of his batting helmet, too high. 1-2 the count with 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Score tied 1-1 here. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Struck out the side, sandwiched in with that 2-out walk. So score after 3 complete. West Delaware 1, Waverly-ShellRock 1. You listen to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Welcome back into Waverly Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Bill Logan, along with Ashley Bramey in the studio, bringing you Hawk Baseball here tonight. First pitch here in the top of the fourth inning to the pitcher, Nick Casey, is a called strike. There's a nice pitch by Willis on the outer portion of the plate, swung on a miss by Casey, behind the count now 0-2. Casey, a strikeout victim his first time up. Again, a big curveball, a slow hopper hit down the third baseline. It's going to go foul. One of those swinging bunt type things just goes foul. As a pitcher, Willis, third baseman Stensland kind of let it go. Not going to get a bad hop per se here. This infield, even the quote dirt area is all the turf. The only thing grass around here is from the infield out. The outfield is all grass, but the rest of it's all the turf. Beautiful looking stadium here, campus of Wartburg College. The 0-2 pitch to Casey. Thought about it, but pitch is low and away. 1-2. Willis been very, very effective with his pitches here. Not a lot of pitches. He's done a nice job of throwing strikes and getting ahead in the count. There is a called strike three. Pitch right at the letters. Casey, he turned around, looked at the umpire like, yep, he's going to call it. So good call there by the umpire. Strikeout number 3 for Willis on the Hawks. That'll bring up the number 5 hitter, catcher Mitch Mangold. He grounded out the second base his first time up. Nice pitch at the knees. Called strike 1. Hawks with 1 run on 3 hits here so far. Waverly-ShellRock 1 run on 2 hits. There's a curveball swung on. And he's got some good downward motion on that curveball. And he's done a nice job of throwing up for strikes. And when he doesn't, it's low. And the catcher, Destival, has saved himself a lot of wild pitches. And with this turf, you don't get a lot of bad bounces behind that plate. So good job by the catcher. Fastball swung on a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts here. Top of the fourth inning by Willis. That'll bring up the number 6 hitter, third baseman, Nolan Linus. He got the first hit of the game, a 2-out single back in the top of the second inning for the Hawks. So see if he can do that again, a 2-out single here, hopefully for the Hawks here in the top of the fourth. And there it is, nice base hit. Right out 2 hops to the right fielder, so Linus 2 for 2 here tonight, doing a nice job of swinging it. That'll bring up designated hitter, Reed Hogan. He DH'd for Grant Morris. Hogan was a strikeout victim his first time up. So Hogan will step in there. Linus with just an average lead at first. There's first pitch, ground ball down to the third baseman. Stensland picks it up, good, accurate throw to first for out number 3. So the Hawks, no runs, a hit. 1 left on, halfway through. West Delaware 1, Waverly-ShellRock 1. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning here, Waverly. Senior third baseman John Stenslin takes first two pitches, both called strikes. 0-2 to count. Stenslin was a strikeout victim his first time up. There's a swing and a miss. 3 pitches, strikeout number 8 now for Casey. He's really done a nice job settling in after that little rough start in the first inning. Walked the first 3 batters. That'll bring up the number 7 hitter, shortstop, Carson Kallenberger. He was a strikeout victim his first time up. First pitch is outside. Ball 1. Here's a nice belt-high pitch. Kallenberger unable to catch up with that one. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. Lights have been turned on, now taking effect here. The sun is down behind some clouds. Swinging a foul back into the screen. 1-2 to count. Fast-paced game here. We're not quite an hour old here yet. There's curveball stays a little too high. 2-2 to count. Casey not throwing too many of that off-speed pitch. He's been throwing predominantly fastballs tonight. There's a fastball on that outside corner called strike 3. Kallenberger's backing up like he thought it was a ball on the outside. That kind of looked at the umpire, and he did call that the strikeout 9 here now for Casey. I'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Brady Thompson. He struck out his first time up. That pitch is outside, ball 1. Pitch low, 2-0 to count. Tried to get that around the knee area there, but a little too low. So I'm going to pop foul over in front of the Hawk dugout, but not high enough for the catcher, Mangold, who hustled over there to try to get it, but couldn't get there in time. 2-1 to count. 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. 1-1 the score here. Hawks and the Go Hawks. Each team 0-1 on the year. There's a nice pitch at the knees, called strike 2. 2-2 to count. 2 away. Pop fly, foul back out of play over the bleacher area. Two and 2 to count. Casey into the windup. Thompson takes a look at it. That's called strike 3. Strikes out the side. That's 6 strikeouts in a row here by Casey now. Strikeout number 10 in the contest. That'll end the fourth inning here. Score after 4 complete. West Delaware 1, Waverly-ShellRock 1. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to Waverly-Wartburg campus here, Hurdle Field. And we're headed into the top of inning number 5, a 1-1 contest leading off for the Hawks. Number 8 hitter, left fielder Marshall McCarty takes the first pitch, called strike 1. He grounded out the second his first time up. Pitch high and inside, backs him out of there. 1-1 the count. Pitch low and away. 2-1 the count. Hawks looking to get that base runner on. Something they haven't been able to do yet tonight is get that leadoff batter on base here. Pitch is high and away, 3-1. There's a ground foul right out in front of us down the first baseline. Count a goal 3-2 now. Here on McCarty, he tries to lead off the Hawk 5th inning. There's ball blown away, ball 4, first walk of the game, given up by Luke Willis. And I'm not sure what the statistic is. It's well over 50% of what a leadoff walk does in high school baseball. See if the Hawks can get McCarty around here. Number 9 hitter, Trevor O'Reilly will step in there. He hit a comebacker right to the pitcher for fielder's choice his first time up. There's a square around bunt, foul back to the screen. As I look at my writing, he actually had a single. He singled to right and was forced out at second on a fielder's choice. So O'Reilly has one of the 4 Hawk base hits here. Taking a look down at head coach Nate Lahr for the Signals. B.J. Hermson coaching over here at first. 1 strike to count on O'Reilly. McCarty getting the lead at first. Luke Willis taking a look over at him. A little extra hesitation there. There's a nice curveball. Dropped that right in there on O'Reilly, called strike 2. 0-2 to count. Probably takes that bunt situation away that they tried on the first pitch. 0-2 pitch, curveball, chopped right again, right back to the pitcher on one hop. But a low throw over to the shortstop, over towards the left field side, and drew him off the bag. He got it, tried to get back to the base, but not in time, and the umpire called him safe. So that'll go as a throwing error on the pitcher. Whatever it takes. Hawk runners at first and second now, nobody out. Top of the order, Jared Harris coming up. He lined to the shortstop his first time up, and then he hit into a fielder's choice last time up, but he came around and scored the only Hawk run of the game here so far. The runners at first and second, nobody out. Pitch to Harris low. Ball 1. Third error of the game. They got 2 on the board. I put an error on the outfielder on the one that they didn't put on the board. So I've got 3 errors. They've got it on the board as 2. That pitch is a little high. 2-0 to count. First time the Hawks have really made Willis struggle a little bit pitch here as they got the leadoff batters in an inning on base. He's done a good job of being able to keep the Hawks at bay here. I don't have him for any more than 12 pitches in any one of the innings there so far, but he has more than that already here, and still the Hawks have no outs. That pitch is high, 3-0. Curveball stays high, so Harris draws a walk on 4 pitches to load the bases here. And that'll bring up second baseman Dunstan Werner. And time's going to be called by Waverly-ShellRock, and he's calling his shortstop now. He's calling his second baseman in as well. Catcher, now all the infielders come in. First base and third base decided they're a little lonely standing out there. So he's got the whole infield in here, probably talking strategy a little bit here. 1-1 game, bases loaded, nobody out. What are we going to do here if the ball's hit to you? So trying to get their team all on the same wavelength. Little chat with his pitcher probably to try to settle him down. First inning, he's really running into some problems here. So see if the Hawks can take advantage of it. Waverly-ShellRock had the bases loaded at the bottom of the first inning. First 3 batters all walked. And they can only put one on the board, so see if the Hawks can take advantage of bases loaded, nobody out situation here. Willis working from the windup. Curveball drops right in there, called strike one on the number 2 hitter, Dunstan Werner. Grounded out to second, and then he had the RBI single, knocked in Harris from second base his last time up. So see if Dunstan can come up with another clutch base hit here. Curveball dropped right in there, called strike 2. Go Hawk infield all in at the cut of the grass. They're going to try to base hit, ball hit in the infield. They're going to try to cut the runoff at home. That pitch low in the dirt. Good, a good block there behind the plate by Destival. Done a tremendous job back there blocking those pitches low. So Willis working from the stretch. First pitch he went from the windup. There's a curveball. Good curveball, broke low and away. Werner unable to hang with it. And he'll be strikeout victim number 5 by Willis. That's 1 out, and that'll bring up first baseman Cal Wright. He's grounded out to the third baseman both times up here in the Waverly infield, in at the cut of the grass here. Pitch is way high. Catcher had to come all the way up out of his crouch to get that pitch. 1-0 to count. Right fielder playing a little deeper than what he has been most of the game. Pitch at the knee is called strike. Borderline pitch, but goes to the pitcher. Willis 1-1. The count with 1 out here. Bases loaded. 1-1 your score here, top of the 5th inning. Time being called by Cal Wright, the batter's box. Take a couple practice swings and step back in there. Willis ready to go. The 1-1 pitch, curveball, swung on straight back into the screen behind home plate. 1-2 to count. Willis trying to work himself out of a jam here. A walk, an error, and a walk. Has loaded the bases here. But then Willis struck out Dunstan Werner, now ahead in the count, 1-2. The Cal Wright, there's a little fly ball down the left field line. Going to stay fair ball. 1 runs in, 2 runs in. Runner from first, he's going to be rounding third, headed home. Throw's going to come in, not in time. And it's going to knock in 3 runs, and then the throw gets away. And Cal Wright ends up all the way over at third base. Will give him a bases clearing 3-run double. And then called an error on the throw into home to allow him to go to third. Third baseman's down over there. Not sure what happened there. I guess I didn't see what happened to him, if it was in the slide. The Hawks score 3 runs there. Makes the score 4-1. In fact, they got a trainer that came out of the dugout immediately. Tell who it is down there, the foul side of third base. In fact, they're holding his right ankle, maybe. So we'll take a little break here as they tend to the injured player here. Hawks with a 3-run double here in the top of the 5th inning, lead 4-1. We'll take a break with the injury timeout. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Welcome back to Waverly. The injured player is third baseman John Stenslin. I think maybe he came down and turned an ankle or something. The trainer came out and they hobbled him off field, putting no weight on that right foot. So he's been replaced at third base by Kirby Vowles. So the Hawks, a 3-run bases clearing double by Kyle Wright. I'll bring up Nick Casey. First pitch is high, ball 1. Pitch is low, ball 2. So we talked about at the beginning of the inning, that leadoff walk did come around and score, and that's just so typical of high school baseball. That pitch is low in the dirt. Again, a nice block behind the plate by Destival. 3-0 count to Casey. So the Hawks score 3 here in the top of the 4th to take a 4-1 lead. 3-0 pitch is high, ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk to Nick Casey. Put runners at first and third. And time being called as the Hawks will send a courtesy runner. It's going to be number 23. Cole Engel will be the courtesy runner for Nick Casey. So Hawks have runners at first and third, 1 out. And now coming up to bat would be the catcher, Mitch Mangold. Mangold 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out his first 2 times up. So see if the Hawks do anything with Engel at first. Runners at first and third. Not going anywhere. Nice curveball there by Willis. Drops it in there for called strike 1. Hawks scored 3 runs this inning on just that double by Kyle Wright, so gave Waverly a little dose of their own medicine that first inning by scoring a run on a walk. Throw over to first. Engel back in safely. 3 runs here, a walk, an error, and a walk is how those Hawks got on base and all came around and scored. There goes Engel taking off for second. Throw down to second. It's going to be in time. Looks like he tried to slide under the tag. Throws a little high, but the umpire says he got him. So Engel's going to get thrown out 2-6, caught stealing. That'll be out number 2. A good throw there by Destival. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Waverly gets out of that without too much more damage out of that. But for the Hawks, they score 3 runs on just the 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left on. Score after 4.5 plus Delaware 4. Waverly-ShellRock 1. You listen to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back into Waverly Wartburg campus here, Hurdle Field to be exact. Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Bill Logan bringing you tonight's contest between the Hawks and the Go Hawks. And we're headed into the bottom of Inning number 5, leading off the number 9 hitter, Caden Dewey. He singled his first time up, 1-1 the count. There's a high fly ball, deep center field. Center fielder Grant Morris is going back. He'll track it down and make a nice catch out in center field for out number 1. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Ryan Willis. He walked, leading off the bottom of the first inning, came around and scored the only run of the game so far here for Waverly. And then he struck out to end the second inning, so 0 for 1 officially. Kind of a half check swing on a pitch up around the letters. Strike 1. Curveball drops a little too low. 1-1 the count. And Casey's done a heck of a job settling down here after that wild first inning. Walked the first 3 batters he faced. There's a pitch slow and away. 2-1 the count. Done a nice job since then. I've got him nearing that 80 pitch count here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Had 28 of them in that first inning. That pitch is low. 3-1 the count. I want to throw him a strike. And the ball's outside. That'll be ball 4. Second time Willis has walked. 5th walk of the game given up by Casey. As that's what got the Hawk inning. The top half of this inning started off was that leadoff walk. So Willis scored the only run for Waverly, led off the bottom of the first and came around and scored. Well, number 2 hitter Little steps in there. First pitch is high and outside. Ball 1. Update from Sill Field. Hawks up 2-0. Top of the 6th inning. Martin scored on an error. Makes that score now 2-0. There's a throw to first. A close play. But Willis gets back in there in time. Softball at Sill Field night. Game 1, 10-0 in 6 innings. Perfect game. Pitched by Emily Klosterman. Pitch is high and away. 3-0. Casey finding some wildness here. 3 walks in the first inning and struck out the side in the second, third, and fourth. And there's walk number 2 here this inning. Walk number 6 in the game here. And time being called by head coach Nate Lahr. He'll go out there and have a chat with his sophomore right-hander. As walk's one of those things, you know, when you get them as an offensive team, you like to see it. That free pass. Looks like he's going to make a pitching change here. He does. We'll get the changes here in just a second. We'll take a quick time out as we get the pitching change. Here, you're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And back at Warburg College here in Waverly, bottom of the 5th inning. Jared Harris, Hawks, the new pitcher. Him and Nick Casey just flip-flopped in third. Ground ball hit down the glove of Nolan Linus. That'll go as an error. To maybe try to see if he could turn it a little quick with the glove. I'll put runners on all the bases now. A couple of walks and an error. Pitcher Willis at first base. They're going to send in the courtesy runner. It's number 14, Carter Langreich. The courtesy runner this time for the pitcher. So 1 away here in the bottom 5th. The Waverly threatening here with the bases loaded. Batter is the catcher, Hunter Destival. Popped out the second, his first time up, and then he walked back in the 3rd inning. Takes first pitch, low ball 1. One hopper hit down to third baseman Linus over to second for 1. Throw to first was in time, but too high, and Kyle Wright had to come off the base to get it. So it'll be an RBI fielder's choice. I'll actually go 5-4 in your scorebook. Willis comes in to score. So that leadoff walk did come around to score for the second time. There they bring in Connor Havlovic, the courtesy runner for the catcher. Second time for Waverly. Both their runs were leadoff walks that came around to score. Throw to first and Havlovic back in time. Well, 4-2 your score now. 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brady Leonard steps in. The first pitch is low, ball 1. Leonard singled. An RBI single back in that first inning, knocked in the first run of the game, and then he was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd. 1-0 the count to Leonard. Again, pitch is a little too low. 2-0 the count. Red sky night here tonight at Waverly. Sun getting down there low enough you can't see anymore, but reflecting off the clouds there in the west. Pitches again, too low. 3-0. Limited pitching last year. 2-1 record in 10 2/3 innings. Gave up 10 hits, 4 runs, of which 2 earned. A 1.31 earned run average. 3-0 pitch, taken all the way. Called strike 1. Check swing, called strike 2. Nice pitch there by Harris. So full count with 2 outs. That'll have the runner first moving on the pitch. Runner's at first and third. 2 away. There goes the runner. The 3-2 pitch swung on a miss. So the Hawks get out of there with giving up just that 1 run with the bases loaded. Score after 5 complete. West Delaware 4, Waverly-ShellRock 2. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back to Waverly. Hawk baseball on KMCH. Hawks ahead in the air into the top of the sixth, 4-2. Leading off for the Hawks, Nolan Linus takes the first two pitches. The first one of the ball, that one was a called strike, 1-1 to count. Waverly-ShellRock with a new pitcher here. Swing and a miss, strike two. He is number 33, and they don't have a number 33 in their lineup, so I can't tell you right now who he is. We'll try to figure out what his name is. 1-2 to count here. Now he's called his catcher out there. So Luke Willis. We'll get his pitching line here. Pitched the first 5 innings here, being relieved here in the top of the sixth. This curveball stays too high. 2-2 to count now. Nolan Linus, he's 2 for 2. Singled back in the second inning and singled in the fourth inning. There's a swing and a foul tip into the catcher's glove. We're out number 1. 7th strikeout tonight now by the Hawks. That'll bring up designated hitter Reed Hogan. Hogan struck out and grounded out his first 2 times up. First pitch is a called strike 1. Hogan steps out of there a little bit, makes the pitcher slow down. They're working pretty quick there. Right idea there by Hogan. There's a ground ball to the left third baseman, makes a nice play. Good accurate throw over there at third by their replacement, Kirby Vowles. Came in for the injured John Stensland, makes a nice play to retire Hogan for out number 2. And that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Marshall McCarty. Led off that 3-run 5th inning with the walk and came around and scored. First pitch is ball 1. That pitch at the knees called strike 1. One pitch, check swing, called strike on that outside corner, 1-2 to count. McCarty 0 for 1, grounded out in the third inning and walked and scored in the 5th. Swing a foul back into the screen behind home plate. Hawks 4 runs on 5 hits and an error. Waverly-ShellRock 2 runs on 2 hits. I got 2 errors on the board, but I've got them for 3. The 1-2 pitch. Pitch high and inside. 2-2 to count. Pitch is low and away. 3-2. Fly ball foul back out of play. Spoiled a good 3-2 pitch. So McCarty will step back in, get another 3-2 pitch. 2 outs here in the top of inning number 6. There's a high chopper hit down to first baseman and goes right to him. Takes 1 step, steps on first. 3 up, 3 down here for the Hawks in the top of the 6th. Score after 5.5. West Delaware 4. Waverly-ShellRock 2. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Very good. All right, we're back here in the bottom of the sixth inning, leading off for Waverly-ShellRock here as we're trying to figure out who the new pitcher is. That's number 23, Kirby Vowles. Swings and misses for a strikeout out number 1. Got to bring up Carson Kallenberger. He's the new pitcher. Guess I hadn't caught it. He's number 33. He's got him on the roster, number 25, but he's the shortstop. He came in and was the pitcher that inning. So we got that cleared up. So he'll step in there. A 2-hopper hit the first baseman, Kyle Wright. Nice toss over to Jared Harris covering first. Good 3-1 put out there for the Hawks. Made that look very easy. Good job by the first baseman and pitcher. 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom 6th inning. That'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Brady Thompson. He's 0 for 2 tonight. There's a pop fly up over in front of the third base dugout. It goes just out of play. 1 strike to count. I have a few dark clouds forming up there. Wait, I'm going to have to look at my radar here a little bit. Some dark clouds kind of rolling in from the north there. 1 strike to count. There's a fly ball, center field. Morris goes back on the first. Now he's going to have to come in and make a diving catch. He thought it was hit a little harder than that, but chasing it back down. A great catch out center field by Grant Morris for out number 3. That'll be the end of 6. West Delaware 4, Waverly-ShellRock 2. You listen to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. And welcome back into Waverly Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Top of the 7th inning. Leading off, Trevor O'Reilly, 1-1 to count. Pitch is high and away, 2-1 to count. The pitcher last inning, we figured out who he was finally. Shortstop Carson Kallenberger, for a different number than what's in the program. What we were handed us by Waverly-ShellRock's program, but he apologized, having the wrong number on him, so we didn't know who he was. 2-2. The count now on Trevor O'Reilly. Singled and reached on an error, so he's been on base both times. There was a fly ball foul back out of play. 2-2 remain the count. Came around and scored on that bases clearing double by Kyle Wright in the top half of the 5th inning. And the Hawks scored 3 to take a 4-1 lead. And then Waverly came back in the bottom of the 5th with a run to make it 3-2. There's a nice curveball by Kallenberg, dropped it right in there, and O'Reilly took it looking, and he knew it. That's a great pitch by Kallenberger. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, pitcher Jared Harris. Harris lined out to the shortstop, reached on a fielder's choice, came around and scored the first run of the game, and then walked in the 5th inning and scored. There's a two-hopper hit to the third baseman. Makes a nice play. Vowles picks it up, throws over to first in time for out number 2. Dunstan Werner. Werner's 1 for 3, grounded out. RBI single, knocking the first run of the game back in the third, and he was a strikeout victim in that 5th inning. The pitch is a called strike. Hawks 4 runs on just 5 hits. 1 error. Waverly-ShellRock 2 runs on just 2 hits. And 3 errors on the Go Hawks. There's a swing and a foul back out of play. 2 strikes to count. 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Both teams looking for their first win of the year. Hawks lost last night to Waller. Go Hawks lost to Western Dubuque. There's a shot right back up the middle. A 2-out base hit by Werner, his 2nd hit of the game. A good piece of hitting there. Hit that pitch right back up the middle very sharply. That'll bring up Kyle Wright. Kyle's 1 for 3, grounded out to the first baseman in the 1st and the 3rd inning, but then he had the bases clearing double back in the 5th. And they're put in a pinch runner. And Werner would be able to re-enter 1 time here, so he'll probably come back in on the re-entry rule. Can't see who it is right now. Assistant coach B.J. Hermson standing over there. It's Cole Engel, the courtesy runner, so he'll be in there. Cal Wright will step in. Throw over to first, almost gets away from the first baseman a little. Engel dives back in safely. Pitch is called strike 1. Kallenberger looks in there, gets a signal. 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Engel with the lead at first. Takes pitch high and inside. 1-1 to count. Hawk softball has fell behind at Sill Field. Ben Schellsburg scored 3 runs to take a 3-2 lead in game number 2. Pitch low in the dirt. Good scoop by Destival, and in the dirt, Engel takes off for second, and he's going to get thrown out for the 2nd time tonight. Got caught stealing before, and then he thought that ball low in the dirt got away with Destival again. A great play behind the plate. There throws out Engel for out number 3. There'll be no runs, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. Score after 6.5. West Delaware 4. Waverly-ShellRock 2. You're listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH. Welcome back into Waverly, bottom of the 7th inning. Hawks with a 4-2 lead, leading off. Number 9 hitter, freshman Caden Dewey, falls behind in the count 0-2. Took the first pitch for a strike and then a great curveball in the dirt, a check swing. And then he just tied him up there with a nice pitch at the belt. A 3-pitch strikeout looking. Second strikeout of the game by Jared Harris. And that's a huge out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Get that leadoff runner out. The number 9 hitter, and the leadoff hitter, Ryan Willis, will step in there. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Walked and scored in the first inning, struck out in the second inning, walked and scored in the 5th inning. So both runs scored by the leadoff hitter. Both times got on via a leadoff walk. There's a swing and a foul ball, 1 strike to go. Another pitch on that outside corner called strike 2. So Jared Harris done a nice job coming in relief. The 0-2 pitch is in there, called strike 3, back-to-back 3-pitch strikeouts, both of them of the looking variety. So 2 up and 2 down quickly here on 6 pitches here in the bottom of the 7th. Waverly down to their last out here. See if the Hawks can secure victory number 1 on the 2017 season. Number 2 hitter Jackson Little will step in there. He walked in the first, struck out in the 3rd, and walked in the 5th. So Harris, first pitch, inside, ball 1. Nick Casey worked the first 4 of the 3rd innings, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, struck out 10 and walked 6. Pitched a little inside, 2-0 the count. Jared Harris came in relief in the bottom of the 5th inning with 1 out, bases loaded, and gave up just the 1 run that goes to Casey. So there's a swing and a miss. Strike 1. 2-1 the count. There's some dark clouds up here, but I looked at the radar, and there's nothing in the state that I see on my radar, but some dark clouds above us here. Swing a foul back over the screen. Even the count, 2-2. Potentially the last pitch here. There's a little fly ball in the infield. Third baseman Linus comes in and catches it 4 out, number 3. So nice job by the Hawks here in the bottom 7th inning. 3 up, 3 down here. And the Hawks have defeated Waverly-ShellRock by a score of 4-2. We'll take a break. I'll add up some totals here, and we'll be back with the postgame on KMCH.
And welcome into Shell Field in the Top of the 7th inning here. Hawks have a lead of 5-3. There's 2 runners on for Vinton-Shellsburg and 2 outs in this top of the 7th. We've had a very interesting contest here. The Hawks got out in front 1-0 early on in the first inning. They scored 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. Those 3 in the 6th after Vinton-Shellsburg jumped on the scoreboard for the first time tonight and scored 3 runs in their 6th inning. As we've had a ground out, a strikeout, a hit to center, and a pop out and error by the shortstop Wegman, who entered the game after Claire Dimmer was hit by the ball. And she was swinging that pitch early on and was called out as there's a strike, 2-0 on the count with 2 down. In the top of the 7th, 2 runners on. Klosterman has been in since the 6th. She came in after 2 of those 3 runs were scored. This one's fouled out of play right side. We're even now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Here at the top of the 7th inning. The West Edinburgh Hawk baseball team gets the victory tonight. They improve the record to 1-1. They beat Waverly-ShellRock 4-2. So we'll send it back to Bill Logan for a wrap-up of that tonight after we're done here. And there's ball 3 upstairs. We're full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2 on the way upstairs and outside. Ball 4. And the top of the 7th inning continues for Vinton-Shellsburg. On a comeback, it's been here after 2 outs. A runner on every base for Vinton-Shellsburg. Olivia Earhart will come in. Coach Tiffany Rave out inside the circle to talk to the infielders and the battery. Hawks leading by 2, 5-3. Tying run out at second base in the form of Elizabeth Davis Walker. Number 3 batter Earhart standing in. She's reached her last 2 times up, a hit and scored in a 3-run 6th. Reached on a fielder's choice, stranded back in the 4th and flew out to right back in the 1st. 3rd batter in this lineup. Vinton-Shellsburg 0-2 after 1-1, after a win last night over Grinnell at home, 7-5. And the 10-0 loss in 6 innings to the Hawks earlier tonight in game 1 of this doubleheader. Hawks are 2-0 after 4-0 win over Waterloo Columbus last night. And the 10-0 6-inning win, 10-0 over the Vikings in game 1. Emily Klosterman, the sophomore pitcher, firing a perfect game with 14 strikeouts in game 1 earlier tonight. So it's popped up out of play behind the press box. We're even out, 1-1 to count with 2 down. In the top of the 7th, 5-3, a 2-run lead for the Hawks. Swung on and missed for strike 2. 1-2 the count. At 9:01, an hour and 31 minutes to be exact. This one here in the top of the 7th inning. 1-2 the count with 2 down. Right on every base for Vinton-Shellsburg. The Hawks trying to complete the sweep and move to 3-0 on the season. And there it is. Swing and a miss. High and outside, and the Hawks get the win. It wasn't easy. Unlike the first game where they cruised with great pitching from Klosterman and offense. But they had to really come back, bear down, and earn this one tonight. 5-3, the final in this one, as the Hawks get the victory in an hour and 31 minutes here tonight. The 5-3 win. As that's going to do it from Silverfield tonight. Hawks win a pair, 10-0 in 6 innings. Perfect game for Emily Klosterman, and 4-2 in 7 innings here in the nightcap. We'll send it back to the studio, and then we'll get you Bill Logan. He'll close out the West Edinburgh baseball coverage tonight from Waverly as the Hawks win 4-2. Have yourselves a good rest of your night. So long, everybody, from Silverfield in Manchester.
And welcome back into Waverly, the wrap-up here of the Hawk 4-2 victory over Waverly-ShellRock here tonight. Hawks 1-1 on the year now. Waverly drops to 0-2 on the year. Hawks 4 runs on 6 hits, 3 Waverly-ShellRock errors. They left 4 on base. Hawk batters struck out 8 times, where they're sipping at 3 walks, all in that 3-run top of the 5th inning here. The deciding factor for the Hawks, no-hit batters. 2 hits each by Dustin Werner and Nolan Linus tonight. Kyle Wright with the big base hit, a bases loaded 3-run double back in that 5th inning to knock in what proved to be the winning runs. And then Trevor O'Reilly also with a base hit here tonight for the Hawks. For Waverly-ShellRock, they had 2 runs on just 2 hits, 1 Hawk error. They left 6 on base. Nick Casey, the starting pitcher, went 4 1/3 innings to get the win here tonight. Gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, struck out 10, walked 6, but 3 of those in the first 3 batters in his first inning. Once he got done with those jitters, pitched an outstanding contest here. I had him for 82 pitches. Jared Harris came in the 5th inning, and he had walked a couple more batters and got himself into trouble there, but Jared Harris came in and shut the door down on Waverly as he gave 2 2/3 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no walks. So Nick Casey with the win, Jared Harris with the save. Just gave up the 2 hits. A 2-out RBI single back in the first inning by Brady Leonard, and a 2-out single in the second inning by Caden Dewey. The only 2 hits for Waverly-ShellRock here tonight. So tonight was one of those nights, kind of a great learning experience last night. The Hawks took advantage of some things they didn't take advantage of tonight. So nice job, great improvement from last night's game to tonight's game. Come into a visiting contest here, pull off the victory here. Now they'll get a night of practice and then the next game, doubleheader Friday down, I believe, at Clear Creek Amana. So good win here tonight by the Hawks. Head coach Nate Lahr still talking to the Hawks out in the right field area. Looks like they're breaking it up here. See if we can get a quick comment here from Coach Lahr as they get victory number 1 on the year here in the summer of 2017. And Hawks breaking up that circle, coming back into the first base dugout. They'll get ready to go. Our game will last an hour and 44 minutes here. And we'll see if I can get his mount. He's headed to the dugout there. We'll see if he's going to come over here at all. It looks like he's busy with the other team, going to sign the pitch count thing that they have to sign this year. As, both teams have to sign a form at the end of the night on how many pitches each pitcher that pitched tonight pitched and get that reported to the state. But the Hawks, with the 4-2 victory here tonight, it looks like maybe he's going to stay in the dugout here. Still not coming out here. So Hawks with a 4-2 victory here. And we want to wish them good luck Friday night as they go down to Clear Creek Amana. Be the starting of the Walmart Conference action here for the Hawks. It's a nice pitching performance by sophomore right-hander Nick Casey, his first varsity start, first varsity win. A little shaky there in that first inning, but came back and pitched a whale of a contest. Ended up with 10 strikeouts. So it looks like he's staying in the dugout here. So we're going to wrap it up here. Congratulations to the West-Delaware Hawks. Congratulations to the softball team. Doubleheader victory tonight, 10-0, 6-inning no-hit victory by the Hawks. Had to come back, play a little comeback there in Game 2 with a 5-3 victory. So congratulations to Coach Tiffany Rave on the Hawks doubleheader sweep tonight. They run a record of 3-0. Be right back on KMCH tomorrow night with the varsity contest from Sillfield against North Scott, JV varsity contest. That's Sillfield, Manchester. If you're in town, stop out and see some great high school softball action. But again, wrapping up here from Waverly, West Delaware with a 4-2 victory over Waverly-ShellRock. Want to thank Ashley Bramey for coming in the studio and working tonight. Thanks to John Swisher and Jamie Vaskey for bringing the softball updates, first game and the updates in Game 2 from Sillfield. Thanks for listening tonight. You've been listening to Hawk Baseball on KMCH.